Thanks, Dick. I too wanted to acknowledge the traditional owners and thank Lee and Enoch for the welcome to country. Delegates, it's been 10 months since we last gathered, but we have achieved a lot in that time. Thanks to the staff at Party Office, Sharon, David, Alana, Jackson, Deanne, Dolly, Peter and Abby, and all the officials. Thanks also to our fantastic volunteers, Jenny, Barry, Margaret, Kerry and Sal, who make an absolutely great contribution. Another person I just wanted to single out is Michael Clifford as the Chair of the Policy Council. He's done a great job working long hours, and the other members of the Policy Council as well. Delegates, we have become the fastest growing political party in Australia. Our membership is up more than 60% in the last 2 years. We've also had 3 important by-election wins. January was spent in the southern suburbs of Brisbane running a campaign against LNP cuts and the Commission of Audit that the LNP cynically delayed the timing of. But the voters of Griffith saw through it and they elected Terry Butler as their federal MP. Then finally the Premier called the Redcliffe by-election. In hindsight, I think we know why he wasn't in a hurry. A strong and disciplined campaign with a fantastic candidate in Yvette Darth saw a 17% swing, and already Yvette is making a fantastic contribution to Anastasia's team. And just last month, the circus was in town with the LNP clowns in Stafford. And didn't Dr. Lynham and Anastasia put on a show? A 19% swing and another fantastic addition to the Labor caucus. Thanks to branch members and unions for their fantastic support on the by-election campaigns, and it's proof of the momentum we are building. In Griffith and Redcliffe, the LNP ran the scary union lawyer line attack on Terry and Yvette. Well, they got one part right, they are scary. A scary proposition for the LNP because they are articulate, smart and hard-working advocates for the Labor cause. We should be proud that they represent our party, and we should never shy away from people like Terry and Yvette representing us in Parliament. In case you haven't noticed, there's a few weird things happening in Queensland politics at the moment. We started the year in Griffith fighting a doctor, and now we're fighting them off as more and more doctors want to join the Labor Party. We also have a dinosaur-loving former life member of the LNP who managed to divide his two-man team and wants to continue the ego trip across Queensland. Delegates, if you want to get rid of Campbell Newman, only a vote for Labor will do it. But we all know we can't get too far ahead of ourselves at any level. We face the coming months of preparation for the 2015 election. We need to draw inspiration from the times when we won government from opposition. From those times when we've overcome the odds and prevailed. Like 1998, when Peter Beattie courageously stared down Pauline Hanson and One Nation. He took us to victory after just 2 years and 4 months in opposition. I'm told that Peter didn't keep personal effects in his opposition office. There was no paintings, no pictures, no books, no mementos. What was the point? He refused to believe he was going to be there for long. He simply didn't allow himself to think he couldn't beat the clueless Borbidge and Sheldon government. With characteristic determination, Peter and Labor prevailed. Or Wayne Goss, who in 1989, after 32 years of National Liberal dominance of Queensland politics, 32 years. I was only 11 when Wayne Goss triumphed, but one of my first political memories was that front page headline the next day, Goss the Boss. It still hangs proudly in my office. In recent years, I have got to know Wayne Goss. He is an inspiration for the fight we have ahead of us. We have spoken about those years in opposition and what they were like. The despair, loss after heartbreaking loss, the helplessness of opposition, unable to help ordinary people, the heartache of watching a corrupt government wrecking Queensland year after year, decade after long decade, having to put up with the butt of southern jokes, even from my Tasmanian relatives. And then there was the Labor Party itself, taking every opportunity to tear itself apart through the 60s, 70s and 80s, factionally ridden, willfully distracted, more interested in dividing the spoils of defeat than winning office. What Wayne Goss brought to the party in the late 80s was a level of professionalism unseen in the Queensland Labor Party. Delegates, I think of those dark times in the wilderness and ask, how do we avoid it now? How can we learn from the past? How do we capture the spirit of Peter Beattie's determination and Wayne Goss's discipline? One thing we know from history is that leaders can't do it on their own. Wayne had the benefit of a united party. A party in the late 80s that's so sick and tired of defeat, it put behind its differences and ended the squabbling. A party that focused on the real enemy. A party that realised it wouldn't achieve anything for working Queenslanders from opposition. We all know that in politics, disunity is death. But more than that, it's a bloody waste of effort and energy. Effort and energy that could go into supporting Anastasia Palaszczuk, her parliamentary team, and our great candidates. Delegates, we are at most 7 months from an election, probably less, but there's a lot to do. We have to complete our pre-selections. We have to put our campaign structures on war footing. We have to raise funds. We have to finalise the policies we put to Queenslanders. And we have to ensure they are worthy of Queenslanders' votes, a responsibility this conference has to bear. We have to develop and communicate our message clearly and concisely. We have to train our local workers in campaign techniques we need to deploy. The checklist goes on. And this is not a moment to waste. Campbell Newman and the LNP will fight hard. They'll fight dirty with taxpayers' money and public resources at their corrupt disposal. Already we've seen the lengths they will go to. Millions spent on advertising, an insincere apology, a newfound interest in social issues, and a state plan filled with pie-in-the-sky targets and motherhood statements. These are all designed to attract from their appalling record of job cuts, the dismantling of health and education services, and their slide back to the dark behaviours of the Bjelke-Petersen regime, where the separation of powers meant nothing, the cash arrived in brown paper's bags, and opponents lived in fear. It's all designed to distract Queensland, not just from their record, but also from their intentions. A massive campaign of privatisation, which will see a decline in services, a rise in household bills, and more job cuts. Campbell Newman and his treasurer say they'll seek a mandate for privatisation, but that hasn't stopped them paying $6 million to advertise the idea, and over $20 million to merchant bankers to commence the process, to get the deals ready to be signed, sealed and delivered in record time after the election. Who are they kidding? For Campbell Newman, this election is in the bag. Just a minor inconvenience, a mere formality to be tolerated on his predetermined path to flog our assets. Yes, delegates, he's a man on a mission, a rotten right-wing mission. This arrogant Premier expects to win and win easily. Queenslanders are in the mood to send him a message. It's our job to convince them that it's only a vote for Labor that will deliver that message. The bigger the swing, the more it will hurt. And maximising that swing is our job in the next 7 months. Every person in this room has a role to play. Delegates, Queenslanders are counting on us, even many who didn't vote for us at the last election, and we can't let them down. We bear that responsibility, every one of us here today. I can promise you that Dick and the team at Party Office will work tirelessly on the campaign, but we need your support to get on with it. Thank you.